Hey friends, it's Dimitri with the Brushka Streetwear. So here is my cycle time for order fulfillment. And basically I made this on Google Sheets this morning. You can use Google Sheets or Excel or whatever other program that you like to use. It doesn't really require a whole lot of thought to set it up. But yeah, basically I made this morning. This is some orders I was fulfilling this morning. And what I did was I'll go through each section and kind of explain how it works and the thought process behind it. So the first one is that we have the date. This is obviously important because you have to keep track of how you improve your cycle times by writing the date down. So I'm going to be doing this for an entire month and I'm going to see if I improve and by how much I improve over the whole month. So that's going to be interesting. Then we have the order description. This is really important because every order is different, but then also there's orders that are the same, right? So over the month, there's going to be orders like one t-shirt. That's a very common order. Another very common one is one hoodie, right? And what you can do at the end of this whole thing is you will take the amount of, let's say you have 10 one hoodie orders. You're going to take the time that it takes to fulfill that and you're going to add all those times up. Then you're going to divide it by 10 and you're going to get an average for how long it takes for you to fulfill average order hoodie. And then this will give you a good range of time so that you can plan your day and you can focus on trying to improve that process. If you have employees, this is super important. So they have a rough estimate of how long it should take to fulfill an order. And you could tell if they're basically BSing the time and not doing stuff correctly. So that's really important. Then we have the type of order. So I basically fulfill my orders in kind of two main methods, maybe three. So I do poly mailers, then I have boxes, and also we do have poster tubes, but that's sort of like a box, and sometimes posters need to be shipped in a box as well. This is important because typically with poly mailers, it's much easier to package those with clothing, whereas with a box, you kind of have to be a little bit more strategic and think it through. Boxes also require much more packaging material and tape and a little bit more strategy, whereas with a poly mailer, you can just throw clothing in there and it'll be fine. With the priority mailers, those are actually slightly different than a poly mailer because of the stuff that I send in them. A lot of times I will send hoodies in those, and with hoodies you have to kind of finesse it around in there and you have to fold it in half, whereas with a lot of the poly mailers I just slide them in there, I don't fold anything. The priority mailers, they're more economical and stuff gets there faster, so that's why I use them. They're very helpful for certain situations. Then we have the duration of fulfillment. This is a big metric to pay attention to because you can gauge how long a process is going to take. And you're going to get statistical averages for a lot of things. So the first average that you can get is the average duration of fulfillment for the entire day. So let's say that by the end of today, I have maybe like double this amount. I will add all these numbers up and then I will know how much time I spent on fulfillment that day. Then we would move on to the next day and I would do the same thing, then the next day and the next day, and I would have averages for each day. And then you can also do an average for the month, anything like that. The times as well, it will show you whether or not you're improving. So for instance, here is like a similar one. We have one t-shirt here or two t-shirts here and the time is pretty similar. Back in the day, a couple of years ago, I made a cool video where I showed myself fulfilling one t-shirt order in under a minute. So I have retained that sort of quick time to still do that. It's around 1 minute. So let's say that 1 month I had just a drop with a new t-shirt and basically most of those orders were t-shirts. Let's say that I had 60 orders. So if I had 60 orders of t-shirts, it should take me somewhere around a little bit over an hour to fulfill that if it's just t-shirts. So that's why this number is important. You can basically get a lot of metrics from that and you will see like what kind of time to beat and what kind of time to improve. Then we have location. So location, the reason why it's listed here is because typically when you're fulfilling an international order, it can take a little bit longer to fulfill than a domestic order because of customs forms. Maybe you want to mark down customs forms so that your customers are paying less in extra fees and taxes. And then we go on to the carrier. This is related to this as well, because with UPS International, you have to fulfill a lot more customs forms. You basically have to sign and date them. Then you have to fold them up and put them in a little envelope that you attach onto the package. So that takes an extra, maybe 30 seconds to a minute to do that. So this is an important little thing to have. And then finally, I just put a key here. I color coded all of this stuff so I can visually tell, what's going on and what kind of order it is. And it kind of keeps things organized. You can use whatever colors you want for whatever you're doing. And, I split them into the type of order and then the location. So this is split here. So yeah, this is basically just a very simple cycle time chart for order fulfillment. This is what I use just to get good metrics on how long it'll take to fulfill orders. And basically I can plan my day and my schedule around this. One other thing with all of these bubbles as well, if you do it in Excel or Sheets, is that you can click on something. You could do Apple C if you're on a Mac, and then do Apple V for paste. And you could basically fulfill all of this stuff here really, really quickly by just copy and pasting your key or the location, all this kind of stuff. The only thing that you're going to be typing in here mostly is you're going to be typing in the order description and the duration of fulfillment. And other than that, a lot of it's copy and paste. So it's going to be very, very easy to do that. So yeah, this is something that I recommend you do for anything in your business that requires, manufacturing or order fulfillment, anything that requires, to keep track of time. And this will be very helpful for you as the business owner to know how long stuff's going to take, and also to help gauge how long things will take to fulfill or to manufacture for employees. So yeah, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.